Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So I always enjoy listening to you, you guys. And two things I heard today was change and resilience. Change and resilience. It's so easy. Like when things are changing, it's so easy to just give up. And one example is, given I have family in Sweden and in the US, I travel to both countries, and that's a lot of change. And it would be easier for me to just tell Z, you know what, Z, I can't teach when I'm in Sweden, but this is important to me. Is there some resilience? Is it a little bit hard? Absolutely. But C makes it possible. So she is, you know, helping, and I'm willing, and together we make it work, even though it's a little bit complicated. So I am grateful for that, and it's worth it. It's worth it. Okay, it's Wednesday, and you know the drill. So given one way, so even though things are changing around us, one thing that stays the same is that we practice. And on Wednesdays, we keep the practice, we keep the same structure to the practice, because in all this change, it's nice to have something to hold on to. So on Wednesdays, we start by learning from others, and then we prepare ourselves for meditation through asanas, so the physical practice of yoga, and then we end with the true practice of yoga, which is meditation. And meditation, in my understanding today, is that meditation is really to try to listen to the mind, listen to all those thoughts, and then try to see what's beyond. What can I see beyond all those stories I'm telling myself? What is beyond? And beyond the stories, if I'm thinking about the koshas, is the wisdom body and the bliss body. And in the bliss body, we understand that we are all equal. And then beyond that, we understand that we are all part of the same. We are all one. It's tricky for the human mind to understand that. I guess that's why we want the human mind to kind of get out of the way. Okay, so here we go. Dalai Lama, what does he have to say today? Okay, I have already discussed the pros and cons of harboring hatred and generating anger towards enemies. And I have also spoken a little about the defect of being extremely attached towards friends and so on. You should reflect upon this and then try to minimize your strong emotions toward these two opposing groups of people. Then, most importantly, you should reflect on the fundamental equality between yourself and all other sentient beings. Just as you have the instinctive, natural desire to be happy and overcome suffering, so do all sentient beings. Just as you have the right to fulfill this innate aspiration, so do all sentient beings. So, on what exact grounds do you discriminate? Okay, so with that in mind, let's move on to the physical practice. And the physical practice is mainly to get us ready, to get the body, mind, and spirit ready for the meditation, where we can hopefully see beyond our thoughts. Okay, here we go. So take your seat. Maybe move the feet up and down a few times to really bring the mind to this present moment. Reconnecting the mind with the body. The mind can fly around all over the place. You can look at your feet, you can see that they are there, you can sense how the heel and the toes are moving up and down. And then maybe bringing your awareness to your sitting bones, the two sitting bones. Maybe think about those two groups that he talks about, the enemies and the friends. So we have enemies, and we have that we might have very strong emotions towards anger, hatred. And then we have friends that we also have very strong emotions towards. We are attached, so we don't want to let go of them. And both of them are off balance. Both of these very, very strong emotions are off balance. So we can lean towards a very, very strong attachment, or we can lean towards very strong hatred and anger. And both of them are off balance. That's what I'm hearing. And then sit up tall, maybe lift the shoulders a few times. Neck is long, maybe tuck your chin a little bit. The crown of the head is like reaching up towards the sky. Pit of the belly goes in and up, giving internal support. With strong internal support, you don't need any external support. Wouldn't that be nice? You don't really care if people are criticizing you. You don't really care if people are praising you, because you have internal guidance and internal support. That would be fantastic. Okay, now if you want to bring your awareness to your breathing, maybe inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. And then just release and go back to your natural breathing. And then if you want to place your hands on your knees and then start the cat-cow movement, with the cat-cow movement. Waking up the physical spine and the spiritual spine. And it requires a lot of backbone to do all these practices over and over again. To be resilient and show up day after day after day, even if it's hard or even if it's super fun. I don't know. Maybe add the breathing, exhale, rounding, inhale into the back bend, exhale round, inhale, exhale around, and then follow you. So you follow your own breathing. And then eventually finding your way back to neutral. Feel the two sitting bones. Maybe think about those two groups that Dalai Lama talked about. One group are the people that you consider your enemies, you feel anger, hatred. And another group are the people that you view as friends, and you might be very attached to these people. You don't want to let go of them. You're very attached. Both of these strong emotions are off balance. They're off balance. Okay, blinking, bubbling stars. Blinking, bubbling stars. Look at your hands. Imagine all the skillful things they can do. We can release anger and hatred, and we can release friends. We can release all these very strong emotions. And if we release all these strong emotions, what's left? What is left? What takes its place? Maybe shining contentment. I read another book by Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, and they talk about shining contentment. That sounded good. And then clasp your hands, turn them over, straighten your elbows, breathe. And then reach and reach and reach and reach and reach. Maybe we are reaching for shining contentment, shining contentment. And then reach and turn, let the arms go wide. Fingertips are moving away from each other. Look behind you. Maybe think about a time when you felt anger and hatred towards a person or a group of people. What was going on there? And then release. Lift the shoulders a few times. Look at your hands. Look at your hands. Blinking, bubbling stars. And if we practice, we can take skillful action. If we practice, we can take skillful action. All the way up, clasp the hands, turn them over, straighten the elbows, breathe. And then reach for maybe shining contentment, or reach for, maybe shining contentment. And then reach and turn to the other side, let the arms go wide. And then look behind you. And maybe think about a group of people that you felt very attached to. Maybe your parents, maybe your siblings, children, friends. Maybe think about a person that you felt very attached to and you had such a hard time to let go of. And then release. And maybe lift the shoulders a few times. Okay, let's start with the group of enemies that where we feel anger and hatred. So feel the anger and hatred and pick a color, and then draw that picture. Draw that picture. Draw that picture. Draw that picture. What does anger and hatred really look like? What's the color? What does it look like? What happened? What happened? Feel it, see it, and then release it. Okay, now let's try the other side. So imagine a group of people that you feel very attached to. You feel very attached to. So what is the color of that? What is the color of attachment? Very attached to. And then draw that picture. Draw that picture. What does it look like? What is the color of that attachment to people that we consider friends, people we like? And then release. And then bringing the arms in cactus. And then maybe go from these two extremes. One side is anger and hatred, and the other one is attachment. So going from one to the other extreme. Just explore it, feel it, see it, understand it. Maybe swim in it, sense it, go into the mud, really feel that mud. Sometimes we have to feel it, understand it, process it, What happened before? What happened after? Maybe go backwards. Okay, and then knee to elbow, knee to elbow. What would it feel like to connect with the enemies? What would it feel like to disconnect from our friends? So connect to enemies and disconnect from friends. I would imagine that in both those cases, the connection is painful and the disconnect is also painful. It might be the same emotion, to connecting with enemies and disconnecting with friends and family, people we love, or attached to, rather, attached to. It's painful to connect or disconnect. Okay, let's try to cross the midline. What does it feel like to connect with attached people or disconnect with enemies? What does that feel like? Maybe we feel more pleasure there. Okay, now let's see if we can do it all together. So stay connected, let's stay connected, and then stay connected. If we hold both pain and pleasure at the same time, if we mix it up, maybe we get shining contentment. And release. Okay. Blinking, bubbling stars again. All the way up, clasp the hands, turn them over, breathe. Now, imagine that you are a bird, a shining content bird, and your arms are your wings and your fingers are your feathers. And then spread your arms wide, spread your wings wide. And you're flying. What does it look like when a bird that's shiningly content fly? What does that look like? Inhale up, exhale dive. Inhale up, exhale dive. Inhale up, exhale dive, and then bring the arms behind you. Hold on to your lower arms. And now feel the pain. Feel the pain in your wings. Feel the pain. Can you bring your breath to the places of pain? Maybe rinse it, clean it, care for it. Release it, and maybe you can replace the pain with shining contentment. Maybe replace the pain with shining contentment. And then release one arm, bring it up and over, place it behind your heart, release the other, place it on top. And can you heal? Can you heal the past? Can you heal the past? Or rather, can you stop wishing for a better past? Stop wishing for a better past. Release and heal. Release and heal. And then release. Okay, now so bring your feet a little wider. With a wide and stable stance, we can go a little further into the pain and pleasure and really explore what's going on. So one side is anger and hatred, and the other one is attachment. Neither is true love. One is anger, and both these are based in fear, in my opinion. One side is anger and hatred, and the other one is attachment. And in my opinion, both are based in fear. They're both fear-based. So explore the anger and hatred, explore the attachment. And the wide, if I keep a wide stance, I can go deep into the pain in either side, and really understand, dive deep into it, and maybe understand what is going on really. And maybe there is more than anger and hatred and attachment. Maybe there is more. Maybe mix in something more. What else can be there in that soup? And then come back. And then place the feet in Tadasana. So big toes to touch, heels like apart, Tadasana feet. Now look at your toes. Look at your toes. Dip those toes into that anger and hatred, and then draw a picture. Draw a picture of that anger and hatred, that group of people or that person that you feel anger and hatred towards. What does it look like? What color is it? What is the picture? What is going on? What does it look like? Draw the picture. And then release. And then a step wide, elbows to knees, fingertips together. Breathe. And then drop the head down. Let it be heavy. Allow gravity to do what gravity is really good at. Maybe the neck will open up. Inhale, come back up. And then place the foot on top of the knee. Use your fingers to open up the toes. So getting some space in between the toes. So the toes could be a group of friends or a family. Sometimes they're too close. And when everyone needs some space, And then slide the knees together. Whatever leg is on top, that arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. And just remind yourself how much you love yourself. Remind yourself how much you love yourself. Despite all the good and bad things you did in the past, you love yourself. I love myself. And then from here, find your version of eagle, your version of eagle. And then if you want to imagine a bird, imagine an eagle, a shining, content eagle, a shining, content eagle. What does that look like? And then when you think that you have it, allow those feathers to go high. Let those wings go fly out in the world, spread that shining contentment, and then land on top of the next mountain. Okay, look at the toes, look at the toes. Now imagine that group that you might be very attached to. It could be a group of a family, of friends, and then pick a color, and then draw the picture. What does attachment look like? What does it look like when you are very attached to a group of people that you love or care for? And then step out wide, elbows to knees, fingertips together. Breathe. And then place the left hand on the floor, right hand on your right knee. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, look up towards the sky, press into both hands. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist a little deeper. And then drop down. Inhale, come back up, elbows to knees, fingertips together. And then place the right hand on the floor, left hand on the left knee. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, look up and twist. Push into both hands. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale and twist. Maybe consider that sometimes you are wrong. Sometimes you are wrong. And then release. Inhale, come back up. And then place that foot on top of the knee. Now, this could be a group of very attached people, like a family group or a friend group, very attached. And use your fingers. And everyone needs some space. Everyone needs some space. So creating space in between a group of very attached people. How would you do that? How would you do that? And then slide the knees together. Whatever leg is on top, that arm goes under. Give yourself a hug. And remind yourself that you try your best. You try your best. Self-compassion. I try my best. You try your best. Self-compassion. You try your best. Some days it's easy and some days it's hard. And then from here, find your version of eagle, your version of eagle. And then imagine an eagle, a shining, content eagle, a shining, content eagle. What do you look like? What do you look like when you are shining and content? And then let that bird fly. Let it fly, let it fly, let it fly. And then eventually it's going to land on the next mountain. Okay, now with all this practice, we need some strength to actually carry it out. So let's work on the strength. So come up, pick a number, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Check it out. And then let's do it one more time. So pick the same or a different number. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Check it out. And this time transfer the weight forward and up. And then let's stay up. Thinking bubbling stars all the way up, clasp the hand, turn them over, straighten the elbows, breathe. And then some side bending, allowing the lungs to open up. And then reach for shining contentment. Reach for shining contentment. And then let the arms go. Let them go. Imagine if you felt shining contentment. Imagine how easy life would be. And then arms, elbows to knees, elbows to knees. We connect and disconnect, connect and disconnect. And sometimes we are actually brave enough to cross the midline. Okay, hands on your hips, power of positional power, feel your power. You can do this, you can do this. And then lift the legs out to the side, waking up the external hips. Before we have complete internal support, it's nice to have some external support. And then lean and lift. Lean and lift, lean and lift, breathe. And then lean and lift to the other side. Lean and lift. All right. And then wake up the hamstrings and the front of the leg. Okay. Now, open, blinking, bubbling stars. Now open the fingers. Now we're going to push away. We're going to push away those strong emotions of anger, hatred, and attachment. All those three are very strong emotions. We're going to push them away, push them away, push them away. And they're going to try to sneak back in. And it's going to be so hard, but we can push them away. We can push them away. We can push them away. We are resilient. We can change. We are resilient and we practice and we try. And we're going to push those strong emotions away. We might have to kick them away, and they're going to try to sneak in from the side and from the back. And then eventually there will be shining contentment. Okay, let's do 3 sound salutations. I'm going to start with my feet hip distance apart. That gives me more balance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. That was 1. Okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, up and over. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale all the way back up. Exhale down the midline. And then stay there holding your own heart in between your hands with self-love and self-compassion. And then release. Big toes to touch, hips slightly apart. Inhale to chair. Exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, the right heel comes off. Take a big step back. Find the earth behind you with your toes and then the heel. And then find your way to Warrior 1. Blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pockets. Transfer the weight forward. Pick up that back foot. Pick up the opposite hand. Reach it forward. Breathe. And then bend. Come back to Tadasana. Okay. Inhale to chair. Exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right. Left heel comes off. Take a big step back. Find the earth behind you with the toes and then the heel. And then build Warrior 1 from the ground up. Blinking, bubbling stars. Place your hands in your back pockets. Breathe. Transfer the weight forward. Pick up that back foot. Pick up the opposite hand. Reach it forward. Bend, bring everything back together and come back to Tadasana. All right, inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off. Take a big step back. This time, open up the pelvic halves. Open up the pelvic halves. Finding Warrior 2. 1 in the past, 1 in the future. We can learn from the past and prepare for a better future. That's possible. Flip the front hand, reverse. What did you learn? What did you learn from the past? And how can you bring that forward and prepare for a better future? Come back to the present moment. What is one thing you can do today? One thing you can do today. Hands on your hips, straighten that front knee, release the hand down. Trikonasana. You can be a shining, bubbling, content star. Shining, content, bubbling star. Rebend your front knee back to the present moment. We're not there yet. We're still human. Hands on the chair. Pick up that back foot. Look at your toes. Maybe let the same hand off. Same hand off. And then bend and come back down to earth and Tadasana. Inhale to chair, exhale to Anjali Mudra. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes off. Take a big step back, open up your pelvic calves. Finding warrior two. One hand in the past, the other one in the future. Flip the front hand reverse. What did you learn from the past? And take that with you. How can you prepare for a better future? Come back to the present moment. What is one thing? What is one thing that you can do today? One thing. Hands on your hips, straighten that front knee, release the hand down, finding Trikonasana. You can be a shining, content, blinking, bubbling star. You can be a shining, content, blinking, bubbling star. Rebend the front knee, come back to warrior two in the present moment. Hands on the chair, pick up that back foot, look at your toes. Maybe let the same hand off. Maybe let the same hand off. And then bring the feet back together and find your way back to Tadasana. Okay, starting at the top of the mountain, Tadasana, mountain posture. Feel your strength, feel your resilience. You can change and you can deal with change. Transfer the weight to the left, right heel comes off. Pit of the belly goes in and up. That's that internal support. And then explore your balancing posture. How can you stay balanced in between those very strong emotions? No reason to go all the way over to hatred and anger. No reason to go all the way over to attachment. How can you stay in shining contentment? How can you stay in shining contentment? How can you be that tree that grows into shining contentment? What does that tree even look like? What does it look like? And then finding your way back to Tadasana. Transfer the weight to the right, left heel comes. First, pit of the belly goes in and up, internal support, then transfer the weight, then bring the left heel off. When you do that, nothing changes. There's no dip. Okay, and from here, how can you build a shining, content tree in the midst of the storm of strong emotions such as anger, hatred, and attachment? They're all strong emotions that brings us off balance unless we have a very wide, deep system of roots that keeps us balanced in storms and floodings and heat and fire. And then eventually find your way back to the mountain. Stability, resilience. Okay, Feet are a little bit wider than your hips. Spread the toes. Hands on the chair. Release the knees down. Building that little four. It's a triangle, but there are four corners. It's a triangle with four corners. That's like a new shape. We didn't learn in math. Look at your thumb. Draw a big circle, big circle, big circle. And maybe let that thumb connect with your heel. Hips are pushing forward. Breathe. And then release. Look at your other thumb. Draw a big circle, and maybe let that thumb connect with the heel. Hips are moving forward. Okay, now look at both thumbs. Big circle, and maybe place them in your back pockets. The full version would be to have both thumbs on your heels, if that's accessible to you. Hips are moving forward. And release. And then untuck the toes, get the knees wide, big toes attached, and find child's posture. Child's posture for a few moments. Inhale, come up. And then clasp the hands. Create that triangle with four corners. It's like a triangle with four corners. Tuck the toes, engage the core, lean into the support, lift the knees, and find the dolphin posture. Dolphin posture for a few moments. And then bend the knees, and come back up to standing. Okay. Moving on to a short but sweet seated meditation. So I'm gonna read Dalai Lama's word one more time, and then we have about 5 minutes for a seated meditation. Okay, I have already discussed the pros and cons of harboring hatred and generating anger towards enemies. And I have also spoken a bit about the defects of being extremely attached towards friends and so on. You should reflect upon this and then try to minimize your strong emotions toward these two opposing groups of people. Then, most importantly, you should reflect on the fundamental equality between yourself and all other sentient beings. Just as you have the instinctive, natural desire to be happy and overcome suffering, so do all sentient beings. Just as you have the right to fulfill this innate aspiration, so do all sentient beings. So on what exact grounds do you discriminate? Okay, so with this in mind, let's find your seat, sit up tall, bring your awareness to your breathing, and then we'll meditate for about 4 minutes together. Here we go. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, gently move your head from side to side. Take a deep breath in, and let it go. Maybe place your hands in Anjali Mudra, holding your own heart in between your hands with self-love and self-compassion. If you want to, you can bow your head in gratitude for this practice, thousands of years old. Thank your inner guide, your past, present, and future teachers, and all the people that are joining you on this journey. Open your eyes, raise your gaze, and thank you so much for practicing together this morning. It's easier to practice in community. Namaste.